Hey, this is the Great Sudoku for AngryMarks.com. You can get at me on Twitter at Great Sudoku. I'm coming to you here with the August 1st edition of the G1 Climax wrap-up. We'll get right to it because it was a great card. The B block always brings it. We'll start with the undercard matches, the tag matches, and the multiple man tag matches. First match was a tag match between David Finlay and Jay White taking on Doc Gallows and Cody Hall. It is what it is. It was a first match, and Doc Gallows got the win by a double-handed chokeslam sit-out powerbomb pin to Jay White. Not much going on in this match except at the beginning. Cody Hall challenged Jay White to a test of strength. Jay White thought about it for a minute and then just slapped Cody Hall right in the face, and that was awesome. So yeah, Bullet Club picks up the win in the first match, but it was good to see Jay White kind of hold his own there at the beginning. Match number 2 of the card, we had six-man tag. Togi Makabe, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Yohei Komatsu taking on Tetsuya Naito, Kota Ibushi, and Mascara Dorada. And I don't mind Tetsuya Naito in a six-man tag match. He can work his heel gimmick because the incredible drag factor that Tetsuya Naito's character has can easily be picked up by his two tag team partners, Kota Ibushi and Mascara Dorada. And boy, did Ibushi pick it up in this one. There was a point where Kota Ibushi leveled Hiroshi Tenzan with a series of kicks and strikes, hit him with a standing moonsault, but didn't want to pin him with that, so Ibushi runs to the ropes, it's a lion salt off the ropes, and pins Tenzan there, kicks out at 2.8. So it was pretty good. And yeah, like I said, Naito working his heel gimmick, it works in this match. There was a point where Naito had Togi Makabe in a figure four and just refused to relinquish the hold when Hiroshi Tenzan came in and stomped on him. But Tenzan was not going to take no for an answer, and he reputedly stomped Naito, going even as far to throw the referee halfway across the ring just so he could continue stomping on Naito until he finally relinquished the figure four on Makabe. And it was good to see that Tenzan got in there and wasn't going to take the crap that Naito's trying to do. It's like Naito's heel character kind of reminds me what they're going for is kind of like a Raven apathetic heel gimmick, but yeah, Naito is just doesn't have the charisma to pull that off. We also know that Naito's a good wrestler, and doing the apathetic heel gimmick is just a waste of his talent. But yeah, in this one, Mascara Dorada picks up your pinfall win, finishing off Yohei Komatsu with a Dorada driver. And that one's your second match of the card. Third match of the card, we have another six-man tag match. Bullet Club, represented by AJ Styles, Bad Luck Fale, and Tama Tonga, take on Katsuyori Shibata, Tiger Mask, and Captain fucking New Japan. Get the fuck out of here. And he would get the fuck out of here because he tried to roll up Tama Tonga, who said, get that shit out of here. He hit him with a DDT, planted it into the mat, picked up the pinfall win by Bullet Club. In this match, I was really marking out to see Bad Luck Fale slap the Tongan death grip on Tiger Mask. Yay, represent Tonga. That shit was old school. That shit was dope. He actually took Tiger Mask down to the mat with this Tongan death grip and got a 2.8 count on it as well. So yeah, Bullet Club goes over the ragtag team of Shibata, Tiger Mask, and Captain New Japan in your third match. And the last match of the undercard, we had the oddball team of Ryosuke Taguchi, Kushida, and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Chaos's B team of Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, and Gedo. And while they may call Hiroshi Tanahashi the John Cena of Japan, it was Kushida who did the "you can't see me" gesture in this match. And he did that, and he rebounded off the ropes and drop-kicked Gedo in the knees and followed it up with a basement drop-kick to Gedo's head. So it's good to see him do the "you can't see me" and actually follow it up with something that doesn't suck, like the five-knuckle shuffle. So John Cena, take notes here. There was also a cool spot in this match where Taguchi and Tanahashi hit simultaneous planches on opposite sides of the ring to the outside, a very lucha libre Mexican-style spot there that was cool to see. But yeah, as Kushida's been getting a big push lately, he won this match much like he did much of his matches in the Best of the Super Juniors. Kushida got Gedo in a hammerlock. Gedo was really close to getting to the ropes. Kushida rolls him back into the center of the ring, holds the hammerlock the whole time, wrenches it in, and Gedo has no choice to tap out. So Kushida, continuing on his push, gets the win for his team there, and that wraps up the undercard for the night. And yes, it is the B block singles matches, and we know with the B block always brings it. First singles match of the night was Yujihiro Takahashi versus Satoshi Kojima. This was a pretty entertaining match except for the finish, and I'll get to the finish in a minute. But yeah, one thing that really entertained me was Takahashi was distracting the referee. The cameraman was just enthralled with Takahashi's female valet, the bikini-clad blonde Japanese woman. Couldn't take the camera off her. I guess he couldn't take his eyes off her. So while Takahashi was distracting distracting the ref and the cameraman was pseudo-distracted by the female valet, Cody Hall was just whipping the Taro Kojima on the outside of the ring. When Takahashi finally came over to pick up the lifeless Kojima, he looks dead into the camera and says in broken English, "I don't know what happened." And I marked out for that because Takahashi is playing this heel, and he's doing so by playing innocent in a language that is not his own, in English, which probably even gets him over more as a heel. So it's good to see him kind of carve out the character here. What I didn't like about this match was the finish, because it should have been a DQ 3 or 4 times over. Kojima had Takahashi pinned dead to rights. As the referee's arm was coming down a third time, Cody Hall pulled the referee out of the ring. Right there, that should be an instant DQ, but no. And then not only did Cody Hall pull the referee out of the ring, Cody Hall went into the ring and beat on Kojima. I wouldn't mind this so much, but the cameraman showed that the referee, when he got pulled out of the ring, was kind of seated near the ringside commentators on his butt on the floor. He had a clear view of the ring. He could clearly see Cody Hall in the ring putting a beating on Kojima. That should be DQ number 2 right there. Not only that, but as the referee was coming back into the ring after he got his bearings, so to speak, Takahashi low-blowed Kojima, which set up the Death Valley driver and the pin finisher. Obviously, the referee saw this low blow, but he counted the three-count fall anyway, and that's it. But yeah, are you forbidden from issuing a DQ as a referee in the G1 Climax? I really don't get it. This is somewhere where I would really like to see the kayfabe entity that is the IWGP step in, like the NWA would way back in the day as the governing body, and just, issue an override on that. So, we're reversing the decision. Clearly, there was interference. It should have been a DQ, but I don't see that happening. It is what it is. Yujihiro Takahashi picks up the 2 points over Kojima, though I would have liked to see him do it in a different manner. Next match of the evening, another G1 B-Block singles match. We had Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata, taking on the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson. And this match would have been not very memorable had it not been for Anderson really playing up to the crowd, getting himself over as a heel, mocking Nagata's salute, leading the crowd in some mock Nagata, Nagata chants, and yelling at the fans, what do you think of your Nagata now? When he would beat him down. And it was really entertaining stuff from Carl Anderson. I mean, this is a match that would not have stuck out in my mind otherwise, but Carl Anderson just really mocking Nagata and really giving it to the fans really had it stand out in my mind. The match was won when Nagata was going for a backdrop suplex pin. Anderson reversed that into a Carl Cutter, 1, 2, 3. Bullet Club, Carl Anderson, Biz Cliz gets your win in match number 6. And the real highlight of the night, probably your second biggest highlight of the night, we had Michael Elgin taking on fan favorite Tomoaki Hanma. And the highlight of the night for me, I suppose, in this match was Elgin hardway avalanche falcon arrowing Hanma. He lifted Hanma up hard way from the apron. He was on the inside second rope, held him up in a stalling suplex position, and drove Hanma down into the mat with an avalanche falcon arrow. Again, Bobby Fish, if you're watching the G1 Climax, takes notes because Elgin does a picture-perfect avalanche falcon arrow, and yours just sucks. Hanma was able to kick out of that at 2.8, but yeah. There was a lot of no-selling from Hanma going on. At the end of the match, Elgin caught Hanma midair, German suplexed him. Hanma no-sold it, but Elgin didn't let that phase him. He powerbombed Hanma for no-selling that. That not being enough, he powerbombs Hanma again into the corner, picks him up for a third powerbomb. This one was a helicopter powerbomb pin. Elgin picks up your victory in match number 7, and the fan favorite Tomoaki Hanma is still winless in G1 Climax action. So fans were a little sad about that, but I am glad to see Michael Elgin getting some wins in this tournament. The big story, however, came in match number 8 as Shinsuke Nakamura returned to take on fellow Chaos stablemate Tomohiro Ishii, and what a match this was. This was not some powder puff layover just coming back from injury match. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura's left elbow was very heavily taped, I would not have known he was injured. But yeah, his elbow was really taped. It looked like he had an elbow pad underneath the elbow tape. You could tell there was something going on just physically by looking at the tape, but Nakamura looked 100% in this match. This is a match that shows why Shinsuke Nakamura is the king of strong style. At one point, Ishii just powerbombed the hell out of Nakamura into the mat with a powerbomb pin. Nakamura kicked out at 2.8. Ishii was undeterred, not phased. He took Nakamura to the top rope, hit him with a superplex, but again, Nakamura kicked out at 2.8. I mean, there were lariats and diving lariats that Nakamura kicked out of. And Nakamura was just going off, and Ishii wasn't laying down either. It took It took not one, not two, but three bomb IAs to put Tomohiro Ishii away, and even that had to come after Nakamura put out a move I haven't seen him use in forever, the Samoan driver. So it was cool to see Nakamura use the Samoan driver. It was cool to see Nakamura back in action, and I couldn't see Nakamura losing anyway, and indeed he does get the win over fellow stablemate Tomohiro Ishii. At the end of the match, finally he does show some camaraderie towards Ishii as Jay White's attending to him. Nakamura goes over, pats him on the chest, holds his hand, makes sure he's okay. But at the beginning of the match, they just started out by kicking each other in the shin. So there was no love lost to start with, but at the end, it was nice to see Nakamura checking on his fellow Chaos stablemate. It was nice to see Shinsuke Nakamura come back from injury, and nice to see him pick up the win. And your main event, which really couldn't top the Nakamura match, was Hiroki Goto versus Kazuchika Okada. And boy, this was a good match, especially at the beginning where the cameraman shows the IWGP the IWGP Intercontinental Championship next to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. So you know that the two champions, 1 and 2, are facing off against each other here. And there was a sequence, too, however, where Okada was really slow to kick out. They were chain wrestling. They were doing roll-ups and countering roll-ups and kicking out at 2. Okada clearly kicked out late. Red Shoes was counting, and Red Shoes slowed down his count, but the crowd reacted as if the match had ended, because by all rights it should have. I can't really blame Red Shoes on this one, though. Okada should have kicked out a lot quicker than he did, but thankfully the match did not end on a roll-up, because that really would have sucked for a main event in a G1 Climax match, especially between your Intercontinental Champion and your Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, I mean, Okada went for the Rainmaker so many times in this match, and Goto was waiting for him. The first time he hit him with an Ura Toroshi on the rebound, picked him up and buried him with an Ura Shoten. Okada managed to kick out at 2.95. It was really close. But yeah, eventually Okada went for a second Rainmaker. Goto was ready for it. Downed Okada with a shoulder thrust. He went for the Shoten Kai. Okada escaped it. Okada went for the Rainmaker a third time, but Goto just kind of lariated Okada's arm, and Okada was holding the arm. It took not one, but 2 headbutts from Goto to drop Okada, and then he just hoists him up. Goto lifts him up, finishes him off with a Shoten, gets the pinfall victory. So your Intercontinental Champion, Hiroki Goto, goes over the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada in your main event match, but the real news was that Shinsuke Nakamura had come back from injury. But yeah, that was the story. It's good to see him back in action, and hopefully he can continue through. I'm guessing they're either going to have him win the block outright or win the tournament. Time will tell on that one. If you'd like to back at me with some feedback or some comments on my audio commentary, you can hit me up on Twitter at Great Sudoku. And once again, this is my G1 Climax recap for August 1st. This is Great Sudoku for AngryMarks.com.